Hey friends, welcome back. I'm here once again to talk about my book, Where the Moss Grows Old. I'm getting nervously excited for it. It is next week. It is April 8th, next week. I don't really know when that happened, but here we are again. I know I keep saying that every week, but I just feel like the time is just going really, really fast. But we're here again, and I'm going to talk more about my book, Where the Moss Grows Old. Before I do that, you can click on the link that's attached, and you can pre-order a copy, or you can get a sneak peek of some of my poems in there. But I'm also going to read more poems. So today I am going to read a poem that one of my beta readers said that she found kind of funny, which is great because it was meant to be a funny poem. I wrote it actually about the house that we're living in right now, but anyone who has lived in an old house probably can relate. I actually remember my dad read through part of my book, and he's like, is this poem about our house, talking about their house. My parents live on a farm up in Michigan, and it's the house has got to be, I think by now it's got to be like 120 years old or something like that. It's an old house. The barn is even older, and the whole house is just uneven. But this house manages to take the cake for weird things in it. But without further ado, I will read this poem, This Old House. The knobs are loose, the floor a wreck, and nary a wall with poise. The door frames tilt, the windows lilt, and every small step makes noise. The cracks hide high, they reach down low, but where do they begin? The light shed none of this, I'm done, and yet I'm stuck within. The couch is cold, their drafts come in, but what am I to do? The furnace set, the basement's wet, and surely not with dew. The street's too close, the yard dismayed, my patience wearing thin. Each stone is chipped, each wire clipped, all evidence of sin. And yet I wait, though not too long, for a moment's waiting past. My thanks is sure, I can endure, till house is gone at last. So this is one of the funny poems that I have in my book. This is what I consider one of my funny poems. I actually had another funny poem that I wanted to include, but it just didn't fit the rest of the themes of my book, so I left it out. That one was called Bizarre, but that's a story for another time. But this one is This Old House, and it is about this house. So actually, when I write in there that the couch is cold, their drafts come, I'm actually talking about this couch and this window, because I cannot figure out where the air is coming from this window. But if you sit here on a windy day, you will feel a draft come in, and you will get cold. So that's why I've got blankets all over the place, because this house is just super drafty. There is not a single wall or door frame or line that is supposed to be straight that is straight in this house. Like, I am not OCD, but it's enough to drive me crazy. It's kind of, the whole house is just kind of crazy like that. And every now and then something will happen, and I made a joke to my husband today that I think the house is working against us. Sometimes it kind of feels like it has a mind of its own. It's enough to drive one crazy, but at the same time, I'm grateful that we have a house. So that's why at the end of the poem I say, my thanks is sure and I can endure. Like, I desperately want to be out of this house, but at the same time, I'm so thankful that we have a place to live. I'm thankful for my landlord letting us stay here, and that we can live in this house. But at the same time, I wrote this poem, man, I think I wrote this poem about a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. No, it was probably about a year ago. I'm pretty sure it was just after my son was born, and I was upstairs putting him to bed, and I had my phone with me, and I had one of the rhymes in my head, and I'm like, I just need to write this down, and I wrote the rhyme down, and then the rest of the poem just kind of came, and I kind of polished it up a little bit since then, but I find it to be a rather relatable poem for anyone who kind of just has an odd house, and it just has these little quirks. Anytime someone comes into this house, they're like, this house has such character to it, there's so much charm, and I'm like, yeah, also it's got a lot of issues, because it's an old house. So it's this old house is just so much sometimes, but at the same time, with all of its issues, it makes you laugh. And so I hope that when you guys read this poem, whether you have an old creaky weird house that nothing lines up in it and is an OCD person's nightmare, I hope that at the same time, like even I'm noticing now in the picture frame that my camera is not lined up, and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I don't think there's a way to line it up. This house just wouldn't let me. It wouldn't. I could try, and it wouldn't let me. I thought about that a couple times with different things that I've videoed. But I hope that when you read it, whether you have this old house or not, I hope that you can at least smile along with me and maybe just appreciate all of us who live in these really, really odd houses and laugh along with us. So anyways, next week this book comes out. You can get your own copy. It could be in your hands too, not just mine, which is pretty exciting. You can laugh along with me and cry along with me. I'll be doing more of these videos. I'm not sure which poem I'm going to do next. It's hard to decide, like which one am I supposed to do. So I got some friends that have chosen some that I can talk more about. But anyways, next week, get yourself a copy now, so that way you don't have to wait longer than a week and a half if you don't want to. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Bye.